Okay, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us this live look at what's going on in the tropics for this morning. Nothing has developed as of yet, but we're just going to take a kind of an early look at what's going on out there in the Atlantic and the Caribbean and kind of see what maybe could transpire as we go through not only late this weekend but early next week as both these systems continue to move off towards the west and move possibly towards the Gulf of Mexico. We'll have to wait and see if they make it to the Gulf of Mexico as a tropical system or not. First of all, we've got the one in the Caribbean right here, and then we have the other one back out here in the Atlantic. So we have two of them. Both of them have been consistent in kind of holding together what weak clusters of showers and thunderstorms that they've been holding together. It looks to me right now anyway that this one out here in the Atlantic has a little bit more of a spin to it, a little bit more of kind of getting its act together, I should say, than the one over the Caribbean right now. But both of them by the National Hurricane Center thinks that both of these are going to be eventually a tropical system. You can see the first one in the Caribbean there, Invest 97L. Invest means investigation. Is got about an 80% chance of development over the next 5 days. In the short term, maybe not so much, only a 48, or over the next 48 hours, only a 40% chance of development. And then Invest 98L, which is the one out there in the Atlantic, has a 90% chance of developing into a tropical system. So that one may be a little bit better chance of development. Both of these, as you can see, are heading off towards the west, maybe just a little bit towards the north and west. And the reason why they're heading west instead of north is because of a bigger ridge of high pressure that's parked itself out over the Atlantic, and it's not going anywhere. It's going to stay there all the way through the weekend and into early next week. So it's going to shove these storm systems towards the west. That means probably towards the Gulf of Mexico, or at least up towards Florida or the eastern Gulf of Mexico as we head into early next week. So that's why we're really kind of keeping a close eye on it. The forecast is calling for these things to work their way through the Caribbean, or looks like maybe 98 or the second one there, maybe up through the Bahamas, up towards the Florida Keys as we head towards, looks like late this weekend into early next week. Now here are the computer models. This is the ENSEMBLE forecast, so it's several runs of different computer models and fairly all over the place, from Florida all the way down to Mexico. So right now, not a lot of good information as far as these storms are concerned going into the computer models. So they're fairly consistent in the short term, but once you get into the longer term, they really spread out and kind of go all over the place. You can see on the first one here, 97, stays pretty consistent all the way up to about the Yucatan. And then once it gets past the Yucatan, it just spreads out all over the place, from Mexico all the way up into really Alabama and Mississippi. So this doesn't have, we don't have a center of circulation. We don't have a storm system that's formed. So it's trying to figure out what's going to go on, but it's hard doing that. And then the second one, pretty consistent in trying to show its movement all the way up through close to the Florida Keys. And then after that, once again, kind of all over the place, has it going from Texas back up into parts of Florida. So it just tells me that it's still a big question mark whether these things, or where these things are going to go, whether it be Florida all the way over to Mexico, and also it's a big question mark is how strong they're going to be as they get into the Gulf of Mexico. So we'll be watching closely. We'll continue to track. Once we get something to form, we get a little bit better information on it, maybe even a hurricane hunter plane down in one of these systems or both of these systems, we can figure out a little bit better where the track's going to be and maybe the intensity as well. But right now, looks like at least one or maybe two of these could be coming to the Gulf of Mexico. Whether they come in as just a tropical depression or a hurricane, that really kind of remains to be seen. This is the consensus of all the models. Let's take a real quick look at a couple of single model runs. Now you really have to kind of take these with a grain of salt. Don't hang your hat on these. These are just one run of one computer model, so this completely changes day by day. But let's see what the GFS model, this is the American model, is doing with these storm systems as we go through the latest run. Here's number 2, or 98, and then here's 97, the first one there. So this is as of Sunday morning. We'll put this into motion as we go into Monday. You notice that 97, the first one here, comes into Mexico, and then it kind of fades out as it works off towards the west. And then here's 98, which is over Cuba by Monday. And then as we go into Wednesday of next week, it actually has it up towards New Orleans as a weak system. Not very strong at all. Maybe a tropical depression, tropical storm, something like that. So interesting to see how that takes it up into New Orleans. Like I said, the first one just fades out over Mexico, the other one up into New Orleans. Once again, kind of take it for what it's worth. All right, now here's the European model. This one's a little bit more in the way of accurate, I guess you can say. Meteorologists look at this one a little bit more as far as being a little bit more in tune with what's going on as compared to the GFS. Now here we are once again Sunday morning, and we'll take a look at which one is. This one right here is 97, or the one in the Caribbean, and this one over here is the one out in the Atlantic, or 98, number 2, however you want to do it. Okay, this is Sunday morning. We'll take you into Monday evening. Once again, neither one of these are showing very much development at all, looking at the European model. And if you look at 98 right here, really just kind of some moisture off the east coast of Florida. The one over here, 97, or number 1, is a little bit more developed system. Still nothing strong here. We're talking maybe a tropical depression, something like that. As we go into, looks like Wednesday, number 1 here, 97, is basically just a batch of moisture that comes in over Texas, so that will increase our rain chances towards the middle of next week. But it's definitely not a tropical system coming into southeast Texas. And then the second storm, the one that's over the Atlantic right now, comes into parts of the Florida Panhandle. Once again, it's just a weak system, just basically bringing some rain into parts of the Florida Panhandle. So if you look at both of these single runs, the GFS and the European, neither one of them show a hurricane off the coast of southeast Texas or really in the Gulf of Mexico. They show a couple of weak systems trying to move into the Gulf of Mexico. That will increase rain chances in maybe places like Florida or maybe New Orleans if we go by the GFS, or here in southeast Texas. But it certainly does not show any strong tropical systems off the coast. Like you can see, they come in very weak and they come into the Gulf of Mexico. So good news there right now is that at least in the latest runs of the computer models, these are definitely not anything to be overly alarmed about, or overly scared that, oh my gosh, we've got a hurricane coming. It doesn't show that at all. Back to the GFS model once again, and you can see the system coming into around southern Louisiana, New Orleans. Could be a weak tropical storm, but definitely not a hurricane as it comes into parts of southeastern Louisiana. So once again, we'll continue to watch it and keep you updated as these things kind of move through the area. Once again, there's thinking that they will at least become tropical depressions, an 80–90% chance of development over the next 5 days. And we'll be watching it closely as we get into late this weekend, going into early next week as these things develop. We just wanted to jump on real quick and give you a quick idea of what's going on, what we are looking at as meteorologists, trying to figure out what might be happening. And the bottom line is, it's just too early to say this is going to be a hurricane, this is going to be a tropical storm, this is going to be in the Gulf, this is going to be in the Atlantic, this is going to go to Mexico. Way too early for any of those statements to be made or questions to be answered. It's just a wait and see game right now. And I'm thinking by the time we get towards the end of the week into the weekend, we'll have a lot better clue on what's going on. It is time, though, to make sure that you have your hurricane plan in place, have your supplies ready to go, and just be set in case that we do see something kind of work its way close to southeast Texas here. Now, right now, we're not seeing too much in the way of indications of that, but just be ready to go. And once again, you know that peak of hurricane season doesn't come until between the 10th and 12th of September. So we've got a long way to go before we get done with hurricane season. So these two storms right here, they might not do anything for us here in southeast Texas, but there's going to be ones behind that, I'm sure, as we get towards the end of August into early September, that we're going to be watching as well. So just keep an eye to the tropics. We keep updating you. We'll do live things like this. I'll probably do another live presentation tomorrow morning at 10:30, and then on Friday at about 10:30. And I'm sure Patrick's going to be doing these and keeping you updated as well. Anyway, thanks for tuning in this morning. We just want to give you a quick update of what's the latest is on the tropics. Not too bad outside this afternoon. Temperatures in the mid-90s. Humidity levels aren't too bad. They're staying fairly low. So enjoy the rest of your Wednesday.